I guess we could maybe move off with, we're talking about the passports and how they're mandating or have ordinances in some cities and some countries. What's the difference, JC, between a, say, Manhattan city ordinance that says you gotta enforce passports in your restaurants or we shut you down? We hear people online always say, yeah, but that's not a law, and they say, oh, well, blah blah blah. What's the difference between an ordinance or a mandate or even a codified statute?
Well, I mean, a mandate is typically an executive, like some type of executive power. Of course, like last year when you had all of these mask mandates and this and that, they were always put in by the executive over whatever jurisdiction. Like when you had it going on statewide, the governor would enact, and typically the governor in most states has emergency powers to put things into place, typically for about 90 days, anywhere from 60 to 90 days or 30 to 90 days, depending on which state it is. So, and that can be, it's kind of quasi law. And of course, we know that everything the legal society does these days is basically quasi judicial. So it's not really law. And then whenever you have it like passed by the state legislature, it becomes a statute. It's positive or statutory law. But it's not necessarily lawful or in law, like that. And that's really where the judicial branch, they're supposed to come up and kind of do things, is because the judicial branch is there to make sure that the legislative branch doesn't get out of control, and that they don't just create these statutes that are completely unlawful and go against every principle of law that's been established since the Magna Carta. And of course, when the founders, the founding fathers, so they're called, of this country, when they were establishing things like the Constitution and the three separate branches of government, because back in the old world, for the most part, the judicial branch came under the executive branch. And of course, they got rid of that over here because it kind of leads to the situation where the judiciary is afraid to uphold the law. They're controlled by the executive branch. So if they go against the executive branch or the executive officer, then, their job probably wasn't real secure. And that's why like federal judicial officers have lifetime tenure. Like they're, once you become a federal judge, you can keep that position until you wish to retire.
That makes sense.
So it's supposed to give them the comfort and security to be able to uphold the law without any fear of retribution, without any fear that the executive branch or the legislatures are going to, take away their position or take away their status.
It eliminates the stick, but they still got the carrot.